I said, I have proof that, you know, at least 300,000 people want this change. I have comments from scouts all over the country, former scouts, scout leaders from, you know, all within the ranks. I have proof that this isn't what people want. Can you please show me proof that this is what people want? He said he denied that request, saying they wouldn't release any details from their meeting. He wouldn't release the names of anybody. He wouldn't give me any indication or that he was going to. So this meeting will remain in secret, and it will remain unknown to all of us what really went down, what really happened, what the comments really were. So I don't know how, I don't know how this 11-member committee can decide that 300,000 Americans don't matter, that their opinions don't matter. So I think that, what we've presented is obvious. It's right there in black and white. We've always been loyal and trustworthy and out in the open, which is, a lot of the core values of scouting. The secret meetings and the not releasing of the information is definitely not conducive to a good conversation. So
it suggests that the core values of Boy Scouts of America, based on their policy, is counter to what you believe in. My question is not so much what you and the others are advocating for, but why would you want to be part of an organization that advocates that kind of thing?
That's a really good question, and I actually struggled with that a lot before we joined Scouting. And the conclusion that I come to is, and I've said it before, Scouting in and of itself is a great opportunity. It's a huge cultural institution in America. It just has this one policy that's outdated and needs to be changed. So I definitely do want to be a part of an organization that has as many great things going for it as Boy Scouts of America. It just needs to, change a little bit to include everybody that wants to be a part of it. So I don't want to take anything away from the fact that it's a great experience.
Did they try to tell you anything like that, verbiage they have one to, or anything like that either?
No, sir. And like I said, I have proof of everything that I've said. I'm backing it up with proof. Can you please back up what you're saying? And they denied that request. So
how much is that frustrating?
Well, the whole situation's pretty frustrating. Just because I know that we're like a good family, and I know I have good kids, and our whole life is frustrating because it's one discrimination after another. But that's why we're here. We're here showing the world that we're just like everybody else, and we just want to be treated fairly. So, we're kind of taking everybody's frustrations and the discrimination aspect of it and kind of holding it on our shoulders right now. I have a lot of emails from people thanking me, saying, I didn't have the courage to do what you're doing, and so that's why we keep pulling, because we've hundreds of thousands of people that depend on us now. So.
Can you speak to specifically the statement, the rationale they used as far as leaving it in the decision of parents? It sounds to me like you really want to, as a parent, have an influence. Do you think that I kind of wonder if their statement is saying that they want parents to also have that decision-making process.
Yeah, and I totally understand that, because I am a parent, and when I told him what I tell everybody else, it never came up until the Scouts brought it up, until the BSA made it an issue. We were Scouts, we did scouting things, and my sexual orientation is no more a part of who I am as a whole than anyone else. It doesn't come up in constant conversation. I'm just a parent, really. We're just parents. We just want to raise our kids. We want to be involved in our kids' lives.
Sometimes there are organizations that parents may not qualify. Let's take it like a sports team, might not qualify to be a coach because they don't have athletic ability or something like that. Do you still want your child to be involved, even if in the judgment of the Scouts they don't choose you to be a leader?
No, ma'am. I've taken crews out of Scouts because, originally with my hesitation, I was told that it wouldn't be a problem. So I thought, okay, I'll give them a chance. Yeah. And I gave him a chance, and I fell in love with him, and then they took the chance away. So I'm not going to allow him to continue to be a part of an organization that honestly doesn't treat us the way we deserve to be treated. So.
Well, you said they wouldn't give you details about the meeting and the decision. Did he tell you? Did he just come out and tell you why you couldn't be part of it?
I'm a lesbian.
But did he say that?
He didn't say I'm a lesbian. I already knew. Well, I mean, that is the policy. I mean, I'm joking because I'm nervous, but that is the policy. It really is. I knew that going in, but so they don't make any bones about it. You're gay and you're not able to be involved. They don't try to, you know, they. It is what it is.
Yeah, but you said you had a civil conversation and he tells you you have a nice family, but
Well, I have a nice family who also happens. We happen to be lesbians, which goes against our policy. So I mean, they don't try to make excuses. They don't. They really don't try to disguise the fact that that's really just the policy.
I guess since they're not talking, I mean, I'm trying to get more about what he said to you.
I mean, it really was a short meeting. It really wasn't me. I did a lot of talking. I did a lot of crying. I told him I just love Scouts. My biggest thing is I love Scouts. I'm not here to bash the Scouts. I'm not here to say anything negative necessarily about the Scouts. I just can't tell you enough the heartbreak that I felt when I got the phone call telling me that I wasn't good enough to be a part of his life because I'm gay. It's heartbreaking. If you're a parent, if you're not, if you love a child, you understand that when somebody hurts them, it's much worse than when somebody hurts you. He shouldn't have to live through this. He shouldn't have to deal with this on a daily basis. And I'm going to fight until he doesn't have to.
Now, the Scouts have come out time and again, including yesterday, saying they will not change their policy, that they say that the majority of their members like it this way and that they want same-sex issues to be dealt with at home.
Well, yes, and I've touched on that, and I asked them for proof that the Scouts want it this way because I have proof that says they don't. Also, the issue about the parents dealing with it, I said, that's true. I don't want to talk about my sexuality in a Scout meeting. I never talked about my sexuality until the Boy Scouts forced me to. So it never came up. So the only reason we ever had these discussions is because the Boy Scouts have forced us to.
Back up from an educated man, you were a Scout troop leader, and so take me through the process of when it became an issue for you. I mean, you were involved at some point in time in your community.
We're very involved in our community. They asked me to be leader the very first meeting because, let's be honest, nobody wants to volunteer for things the majority of the time. They're lacking in volunteers. They're lacking in people who want to be that committed. And that's exactly what I was. I gave every second of my spare time to scouting. So they asked me to be, and I told them that I was gay from day one. It was never an issue. After a year of service, they asked me to be treasurer, which I didn't want to do, but also no one else did either. Started finding some discrepancies, inconsistencies, and asking a lot of questions, and then that's when my sexuality came into play. That's when I got the phone call saying, you need to go.
Questions about what? About and when you became a treasurer, what were the questions that you were concerned about?
There's just some inconsistencies, things didn't make sense to me, so I really didn't get a lot of time to even investigate, so I didn't really know. I just asked questions and apparently the wrong ones.
When you said you told them that you were gay, who did you tell that you were gay?
Originally I told the Cub Master that I was gay the very first meeting that we had. I said, is that going to be a problem? He said, no, absolutely. At the local level, you won't have a problem. I never did. In fact, my local community and all the parents in my pack, my entire pack, have rallied behind me. They've all stood behind me. They've all done interviews. They've all sent emails saying, we love Jen and we want her back. So it really wasn't their decision. So it was just policy.
If the policy had gone differently, if it had gone the way you had hoped, would you want to see leaders, an expectation, a standard for all Scout leaders so that they do not share their convictions if they happen to disagree with, for instance, same-sex marriages? I mean, in other words, should the reverse happen too, to where you have more limitations on what a Scout leader...
The thing is that type of stuff should never come up in Scouting anyways. That's never discussed. We talk about things such as tying knots and camping, and I was very involved in our community. We did tons of community service. For first graders, as involved as we were in the community, we got a lot of news coverage for that. We did soup kitchen, volunteering, food drives. We did a veterans program at our school. So that type of stuff really has no place in Scouting. I agree with that. I don't. The Boy Scouts keep putting out that statement saying this has no place in Scouting. I absolutely agree with that. It never did.
On any end, what about the fact that it is a private organization and that they are entitled to allow members that they want to be part of it and also not allow those they don't.
Well, it's a private organization almost when it seems when it's convenient. They use a lot of buildings, school buildings, things that taxpayers pay for. When you start using things that taxpayers pay for, that no longer becomes private. The jamboree that they have every so often costs taxpayers millions of dollars. So on one hand, they want to be a private organization when they want to exclude, but when they want public, money, it's a different story. So that's a whole other ballgame. But you want to be a private organization.
But do they have to pay rent on those schools?
I don't know all the details.
Some do.
But either way, they're still using the public buildings, which my taxpayer money pays for, and every other gay taxpayer pays for.
Did you mention that when you were in there about that?
No, I didn't, because like I said, that's a whole other bag of worms, I guess. So there's just too many things to get into everything.
How long are you going to fight this battle?
Until we win.
Can you think of any organizations that your child now could be involved in that maybe will serve to be an opportunity for him to grow?
Well, absolutely. There are always other organizations. There are Scouting for All. There's Campfire.
Okay.
Scouting. There's all kinds of things. Those are great organizations, and kudos to those people for being able to rise above and start anew. But the fact is that the Boy Scouts is an American institution, and it falls under the separate but equal kind of category, which is always separate but never equal. And my son can only be an Eagle Scout if he is a member of the Boy Scouts of America, and that is a huge achievement. I promised all of my Tiger Scouts, I'm sorry, that I would stick with them through Eagle rank. I promised them that I would, and now I can't. That's the biggest, the fact that Cruz has to face this discrimination, the fact that I feel like I've let my kids down is one of my biggest problems. I just, the kids love me. I would walk in the room and their faces would light up.
Did they say anything about you wearing your uniform?
Yeah. We just love scouting. We just want to, for our children, what everybody else wants. And we feel like we should have to fight so hard just to be included.
Hey, you news folks, Boy Scouts just told me to give you, make sure you got these statements.